Welcome. Today, you'll try to solve riddles that will test your logic. Pause the video if you need more time. Here we go. You live in the Middle Ages, serve at the court of a king, and you are happy with everything. However, the king is not in his right mind and suspects you of high treason. You are accused of giving important information to enemies of the kingdom. For this, the king wants you executed. The monarch, who is in fact mad, asks you to choose your way of death. What kind of death do you ask the king for? The answer is simple. You must ask for death from old age. Since old age will not come soon, you will live longer than if you choose any other method. A man went into a bar and asked for a glass of water. The bartender suddenly pulled a pistol from under the counter and pointed it at the visitor. The man thanked the bartender and left. What happened? Write what you think happened in the comments section. Find out the answer in the next video. Find what's missing. The famous journalist Tom White was found dead in the editorial office. He had a gun in his right hand and a half-smoked cigarette in his left hand. On the desktop, the police found a note. "I have no reason to live anymore. I cannot take it any longer." After examining the editorial office and the body, the police concluded that it was murder, not suicide. How did they figure this out? The police paid attention to the location of objects on the table. An ashtray and a can of cola are on the left side. It means that Tom was left-handed. So the gun in his right hand is suspicious. The pen next to the note is on the right, so left-handed Tom could not have written it. The victim still had a half-smoked cigarette in his hand, which is also strange if it was suicide. It is unlikely that Tom would have put a bullet in his head without smoking the cigarette to the end. Did you like the riddle? Subscribe if you want to train your logic. Find the correct shadow. Find differences. Oliver is standing in a hallway. There are 2 doors to 2 rooms. 3 bulbs are in one room and 3 switches are in the other. Oliver can go into each room once. After that, the doors will be blocked. How can he understand which switch turns on which bulb? Oliver has to go into the room with the switches and turn on the first switch for a few minutes, then turn off the first switch and turn on the second. Now Oliver can enter the room with the bulbs. The bulb that is still burning hot belongs to the second switch, while the warm bulb was turned on by the first switch. The cold bulb is operated by the third. Oliver didn't touch it. It'll be easier to solve the riddles if you subscribe to the channel right now. Guess the movie by symbols. Karen and Jack lived in a house with their friends Colin, Kate and Monica. When Jack returned from work, he found Karen dead in the living room and immediately called the police. A detective began to interrogate the three friends. Colin had been reading a book on a sun lounger in the garden and, according to him, had not left the garden since the morning. Kate said she'd been swimming in the pool and had spent at least 3 hours there. Monica had been drawing in her room. The detective asked everyone to show their hands and immediately realized who had lied and was the killer. How did he identify the murderer? The detective understood that Kate was the killer because if she had spent 3 hours in the pool, she would have had wrinkles from the water on her hands. The detective is subscribed to our channel, so he solved the riddle easily. Are you subscribed? Find the person in the group of people. In the last video, we asked you who would die. The answer is simple. Guy B will die because his blood will attract other sharks and Guy A will have time to swim away. Like if you answered correctly. Alice's jealous husband hired a detective to keep an eye on her. Alice's husband is not only jealous, he's also mean. He chose the cheapest detective he could find. So, Alice easily spotted the detective on the first day on her way to work. Which of the subway passengers is suspicious? If you look closely at the guy who's reading a book, you will see that it's upside down. Most likely, this is the detective who is watching Alice. We hope you had fun. We're waiting for you in the next video.